So, here, just get on the. Actually, you're good. You're good. All right. So today, and over the next couple of days, we're going to be talking about safety education. Okay. So we're going to be talking about for safety education. We're talking about calling 911. So all about calling 911. We're going to talk about first aid kits. We're going to talk about disaster kits, and we're also going to talk about fire safety. Okay. So right now, today, we're just going to focus on 911. Okay. So I want you to put today's date. Here, why don't you write it on the line? Because you have it so big that you might as well. And you can also write it here in this corner. Okay.
Okay.
Well, first for the title, I want you to write calling 911. Or 911, up to you. You write pretty big.
Okay.
Like if you're gonna write that big, you need more space. You're gonna end up writing calling, and then not gonna have enough space to write 911. Okay, so either you learn to write a little bit smaller, okay, like that can fit into these lines. So here, write calling 911 in these lines. Now your A, if this is a capital C, your A should not be that big. Okay?
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, great. Perfect. Now go ahead and put today's date over here in this corner. And here, can I actually... That's not on me. Okay, here you go. Go put today's date. See, you're gonna need more space.
Okay.
You need space between these. Okay, it looks like a slash. Alright, so let's try this again. Let's look at. Okay, this slot dash is what this looks like. It does not look like a 1. Okay? Alright, so we're going to try this again. And that's why we usually don't write out the entire month. You can write out the whole month, but that's why we do numbers, because the words take up so much space. So if you're going to write out the whole word, you need to start over here. Okay, so you have enough space to write the month, day, and year. Okay?
Okay.
You need to start over here. You're too close.
I'm gonna write 5.
Okay. Well, you still need space if you're going to write big numbers. Okay? You're going to have to erase it and do it over again. That's good. That's good.
Okay.
That's fine. Oh, I thought that was your dash. No, that looks like a dash. Erase that too. Write 1 and 2. Because today's the 12th, right? Is that what you're writing, or 21? I forget. What's today's date? The 20... Yeah, look at your agenda. I think it's the 22nd. It's the 22nd. That's what today is, the 22nd. Okay, good job. Awesome. Very neat. All right, so let's talk about calling 911. So What are some times that you would call 911?
Um, um, um,
All right, well, let me give you an intro first, okay? So, 911 is for emergencies, and that is when someone needs help right away because they are injured or there is immediate danger, means that there's danger happening at that moment, okay? So, if that is when you would call 911, give me some examples of when you'd call 911.
fire.
A fire, good job. So, go ahead and write a little dot and then write fire. And that dot needs to go into the middle. Okay? Here, I can just write it. Okay? And go ahead and write fire.
Okay.
Okay, these are a little too bigger if you're going to make this small bigger. Okay? Alright, so make another dot. Another bulletin. Alright, so when else, you can erase that too. So think about another time that you would call 911.
When someone breaks in.
So when a crime is happening. So that can be a break-in, that can be someone stealing something. Yes. So yeah, when that's called a crime. So go ahead and write crime, which is CRIME. And then you can put a colon and you can put breaking in, maybe if you want to. Are you going to remember that's what a crime is?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, add your next bulletin. Yeah, so you'll call 911 when there's a fire, when there's a crime happening. So that can be like if you see somebody out there and they're shooting, okay? That's a crime. Someone's breaking into someone's house. Someone is mugging someone, meaning stealing them, trying to beat them up or whatever. Those are all crimes, okay? So when is another time you'd call 911?
When the leg is broken or something.
Also, when there's an injury. Okay, good. So we can say that whenever someone, maybe there is a maybe when someone is unconscious. So I like how you talked about somebody specific. So when someone is unconscious, meaning that they're not dead, but they look like they look like it. Okay, that is a time when to call 911. So so you can put when someone is first put injury. So INJJ. No, J. URY. And so we're going to put a colon and we're going to talk about some injuries. Put a colon.
Okay.
Not that. That's a colon. Erase that.
Okay.
All right. So when someone is unconscious, okay? So usually that's when someone is passed out. So you can put when someone is passed out. You know what that means?
Yeah.
Unconscious. And someone can be passed out because after an accident, like just say somebody fell and they broke their leg and that injury caused them to pass out. Okay? When someone is drinking too much or doing drugs and they pass out, you wouldn't call 911. All right? So you can say when someone passes out.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So I also want you to put you can put like that's where your leg injury is. So you can put leg broken or something like that, like when someone gets hurt. So that's your injury when someone gets hurt. Okay. You also want to call when someone isn't breathing. You call 911 when someone isn't breathing. Okay. And that can be due to an asthma flare up. You know how I don't want to say it on the camera, but you know how a friend that we know sometimes has trouble breathing, and they're like, right, and they have to get the inhaler. Okay, if it gets too bad, then you have to call 911. Okay, if they're unable to breathe and their asthma is still flared up and because they're having trouble breathing, you want to call 911. Okay.
Have you ever called 911 on that?
No, I have not had to, because usually it gets maintained. But if they're doing that and I see that it's not working, then I'm gonna call 911. And then do some rescue CPR if needed. Well, no, they're not unconscious, but definitely still try to. Okay, good. But we call I don't want to get too deep, but we call whenever someone has trouble breathing. All right. And when someone is, which kind of falls in the same one, breathing, having trouble breathing, or is choking. Okay, so just say if you're eating something, you start choking, you want to call 911 when that happens. Okay, because that person's having trouble breathing. So go ahead and write that down. Okay, and there's an H right here. This is cooking. You have to erase that better, please. It's going to be too much lines for me to be able to see. Thank you. Okay. And then you also want to call 911 when someone is in a car accident. Okay, so if you see a car crash, motorcycle crash, any crashing of any kind, you want to call 911, crashing in the car. Okay? Okay, so whenever you go to call 911, I'm just saying, anyone that calls 911 may feel scared or nervous because of the situation that they're in. Okay, but whenever you do answer the phone, a 911 operator is going to answer the phone. Okay, and so you're not supposed to give out your personal information to just strangers, right?
Yeah.
But you want to give out that information to the 911 operator so that they are able to help you or help whatever emergency situation is happening. Okay? So here, you can erase that right there.
Says 911s won't just not answer the call sometimes. They will always answer the call.
Yes, 911 will always answer the call because they're for emergencies. Okay, so if for some reason you're calling and it's not working, you might want to check the number, making sure that it is a 9, then a 1 and a 1, just like how you wrote it. Okay, or 911. Okay, and but yeah, someone is always there, whether the sun is up, the sun is down, and it can be in the middle of the night. There are people working 24/7. It can be on a weekend, no matter what. If you call 911, the 911 operator is going to answer because there's emergencies happening at all times, at all weird times of the day and night, that someone has to be there ready to help. So that means that there are police that are always on duty. There are firemen that are always on duty. There are 911 operators all on duty. Ambulance, all on duty. Hospitals, everyone is working around the clock.
So they never sleep?
They sleep. They take breaks. So it's like just like how if I were to, they have shifts. So just say someone goes in there from 7 to 3 o'clock. Someone goes, another officer or another firefighter goes and takes their place from 3 to 11 o'clock. And that's kind of soon. But then, maybe then someone comes in and then does from the night shift from 11 at night to 7 in the morning. And then they take turns. So everyone gets, their fair share and everyone gets sleep. But same thing with the 911 operator. The same person isn't there all the time. They have to get rest. But then whenever they go home to be with their families and stuff, someone else is there ready to work to take their place. Okay? So that's why there's always someone there. Okay? So let's talk about some questions that the 911 operator is going to ask you. Okay? So you can write here 911 operator questions. And I can show you how to write operator. So 911 operator is spelled OPERATOR. And then questions. You can ask for questions?
Yeah.
All right. So, one question that they're going to ask, what is the emergency?
And they'll never switch the line.
Or they might ask, what happened? Especially if they hear a child answer the phone, they might say, what happened? Okay? So you can write that down too. What happened? Okay? Because they need to know who to get in contact with. Because once a person tells what's happening, they know to either call the fire department now, the ambulance, the police. They know who to get in contact with. Okay? So that's one of the questions they're going to ask you. What's the emergency or what's happening? They're also going to ask, where are you? So let's go back to this question. So whenever there is an emergency, you want to tell what's happening. So just say if there is a fire and they say, what's happening? There's a fire at Billy's house. Okay? Or I seen someone get hurt by another person. I seen someone take someone at Joni's house. I seen someone steal money at the store. I don't even want to say all that, but you know what I'm saying? So those are, usually at the store somebody will call themselves the store workers. But yeah, that's what you want to state. The whole point of this is making sure that you state your emergency and tell what's happening. Okay? So then they're going to ask, where are you? So after you say that, a fire is at Billy's house, they're going to want to know where Billy lives. Okay? And this is why it's important to know the address and where we live at. Okay? So we're going to ask, where are you, or where do you live? Okay? So that's another question. Where do you live? And we talked about our address the other day. We're not going to say it on camera. What we talked about is I'm going to quiz you later to see if you can remember this home address, because we just moved here. Okay? So I'm going to see if you remember it. And so another question they're going to ask is, who needs help? Okay? Or who is with you? Okay?
Have you ever been in a 911 situation?
Yes. Yes, I have. I guess we can talk about it. Okay. I won't get too deep. Someone that I know that I was living with, they had an oxygen machine on, and they ended up not wearing their oxygen machine on whenever they went to sleep. So when they woke up, they couldn't breathe. So they had trouble breathing. And so immediately they were trying to tell me to call 911. So I hurried up, called 911. And so they had, when they sent somebody over, no one could get there quickly but these paramedics that were close by. And that's what the operator does, it sends people that are close by to help. And so that's when I had to do that. Unfortunately, the person did end up dying because they couldn't breathe, but somebody was there. It took them a while to get there. That's why I assume when there's an emergency you want to call, because they have to drive all the way to wherever you're at. So but when I did, I had to tell them what was happening. I said someone can't breathe and this is our address. Okay, I was like, they can't breathe, this address. And that's all. Then I just had to try to give them breaths, and it was a whole thing. But yes, that was the one time I was in. Okay, so you want to understand when about 911, you want to make sure that you're not calling 911 as a joke. Okay, because
what do you mean as a joke?
Some people like to prank call numbers and randomly call numbers. You don't ever want to call 911 whenever it's unnecessary or it's a prank, because it can delay someone else who really needs help. So if there's someone that's really in trouble and someone's playing on the phone of 911, it may end up hurting the person that really needs help. So you don't want to play on the phone calling 911, okay? And you also want to make sure that you're safe before calling 911, okay? So just for an example, just say that there's a fire in the home. You want to make sure that you leave the house before calling 911. Okay, so you want to make sure you're outside the house. You can probably get someone's cell phone if you left your cell phone or something, and say, hey, can I use your cell phone? There's a fire in my house. Then you call when you're outside. Don't call 911 when you're in immediate danger. Okay, because you can end up getting hurt or dying or something. Okay, so you want to make sure you call 911 outside of right when you're safe, outside of the danger zone. Okay, and then And it's also important that you know your the street address and the phone number. Okay, so we're gonna write down. I'm gonna have you do this again. We're gonna make little note cards of the phone number, my phone number, friend's phone number, and addresses. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So make sure that. You okay? Okay. Oh yeah, stretch your legs. Okay, so I want you to see what you can remember. I'm going to have a little test, okay? Okay, so I want to see if you can remember my phone number and or if you can remember the addresses. If you can't remember anything, just leave it blank, but try to see what you can remember and go ahead and write it down. Okay, don't say it out loud because of the camera, but go ahead and write it down, okay? And if you don't know, you can put don't know or question mark or something, but if you do know or you have an idea, go ahead and write that down, okay?
Can I write like one number that I know?
You can write down as much information as you know, as long as you don't say it out loud because of the camera, but go ahead and write down as much information as you know, okay? let's see. Oh, okay. That's cool. So you remember the zip code. That's good. And you're pretty close on there too. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to practice writing down our phone number and our addresses as well as people that we know so that we can remember these, okay? And we're going to do this off camera so people don't have our information.